Good morning, all the dignitaries and delegates present here. Myself, Sagarika Maji, Assistant Professor in Department of Pharmacology, along with my co-host, Ms. Smriti Sahu, welcome you all on Day 2, Session 1 of online 5-day FDP on Drug Engineering, Challenges and Innovation, sponsored by AICT Atal Academy from 13 to 17 September 2021. Now, I would like to introduce our speaker for Session 1, Professor Kamla Pathak Ma'am. She is a graduate and postgraduate pharmaceutics from University Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences, Punjab University, Chandigarh. She earned her doctorate in pharmacy in the year 1991 from the same institute. With a teaching and research experience of more than 30 years, she is currently working as Dean and Professor at Faculty of Pharmacy, University of Medical Sciences, Etawah, Uttar Pradesh. She is a member of various professional bodies, actively engaged in research on oral controlled, modulated, targeted, and topical drug delivery systems, and has over 270 publications in journals of international and national repute. She has 3 patents, 4 books, 21 international book chapters, and more than 180 abstracts of the papers presented in various scientific forums to her credit. She is credited as reviewer of national and international journals of repute in the field of pharmaceutics. She has a H index of 32 in Scopus and 44 in Google Scholar and has served as member editorial advisory board of Apps Farm Science Tech. She has handled various research projects and has guided PhDs and 120 plus postgraduate theses. Awards bestowed upon her include Dr. R. L. Nicot Award 2012 for Best Research Paper in Pharmaceutics, Motan Devi Dandiya Prize for Best Research Publication in Pharmacy 2012 and 2013, Eminent Teacher Award 2012, Nirali's Inspiring Pharma Personality Award 2019, Research Excellence Award ESPER 2019, and for various co-authored poster presentations at national pharmacy conferences held in India. She is also associated to Indian pharmaceutical industry in the capacity of scientific consultant, credited as reviewer of scientific projects, Knowledge Foundation Sweden, Israel Science Foundation. She is an invited member of American Nano Society. She has participated in various national and international seminars, conferences in various capacities of organizer, invited speaker, and chairman of scientific sessions. She has been enlisted in the top 2% Indian scientists in the subsection Pharmacology and Pharmacy in a list released by Stanford University. Now, without wasting much time and not becoming a hurdle between you and speaker, I welcome Professor Kamla Pathak ma'am for her presentation. Welcome ma'am.
Thank you, Sagarika, Dr. Sagarika, for their introduction. And first, let me share the screen. आपको screen sharing allow करनी पड़ेगी. Host has disabled participant screen sharing.
Dr. Manoj, Ms. Ashwini, just allow this the PPT screen वगैरह.
Okay. Can you see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
We could see.
So the topic of my talk would be 3D printing, and I'll talk about its methodology and its application in pharmacy. And I don't know how many of you are used to this concept, but today I'll take the liberty of thinking that it's new to many of you. So let me start. First is, what is 3D printing? Right? Whenever we print on computer, that is a 2D type of a printing, where you're using 2 dimensions, length and breadth. But when we use 3D printing, we are using 3 dimensions of printing. So it is layer by layer production of 3D objects from digital designs. So what we need to do is we have to prepare a digital design, and that digital design is then printed. And basically this topic is a confluence of chemistry, optics and robotics research. And more than 30 years ago, It was used to facilitate the creation of prototypes from UV cured resins. So UV cured resins were used to prepare 3D printed products. And this became a standard tool in automotive, aerospace, and consumer good industries. That is why in the market you find large variety of products with numerous shapes. Those which are unimaginable by mechanical designs, they are present in the market. And it has gained attention in pharmaceutical manufacturing as illustrated by FDA's approval of 3D printed drug product in August 2015. So it has entered into the pharmacy also. And consequently, research interest has been growing since then. Now, what exactly is 3D printing? I'll try to explain the principle by this diagram. See, it has 4 components. We have 3D CAD file. First, we have to prepare a 3D CAD file, convert it into layer by layer design, which is called as STL file. STL means stereolithographic file. And then by the additive manufacturing, AM means additive manufacturing. So by additive manufacturing process, layer by layer is generated to get the final object. So first step is the design. Whatever be the technique of 3D printing, there will be essentially some steps. And the first step is designing. So the intended product design is digitally rendered and the designs can be made by 3D in 3D format with computer aided drug design software, or it can be created in 2D. तो डिजाइन आप कैसे भी बना सकते हैं 3D या 2D डिजाइन पहले डिजाइन बनाना है and then the design has to be converted into a machine readable format. That is, the 3D designs are typically converted to STL file format. Now this is very important file format, which is stereolithographic file format, and it is kind of a 3D design. A 2D picture is converted into a 3D file format, which describes the external surface of the 3D model. And then 3D printing programs slice these surfaces into distinct printable layers and transfers layer by layer instructions digitally to the printer. So this is the STL file where this 3D CAD file has been converted into layer by layer format by stereolithography. Now this layer by layer conversion is important because the printer will print layer by layer. The printing will be layer by layer, as you can see here. So the third step indicates that the printing will also be layer by layer to get the final product. The next step is raw material processing. Now, once the design has been made, आपने दोनों तरह की files बनानी है, CAD file भी और STL file भी. Next is we need raw materials which will be processed into granules, filaments, or binder solutions to facilitate the printing process. So the raw material can be in any form. Either you can have simple powder or granules or filaments or as binder solutions. And then the raw materials are added and solidified in an automatic layer by layer manner to produce the desired product. After printing, the products may require drying, sintering, polishing, or other post-processing steps. So when the final product is obtained, we will always have some unprinted material also, which can be harvested and recycled for continued use in the printing process. So these are the 5 steps of any technology which is used for 3D printing. And there are so many technologies available nowadays for 3D printing. I'll enlighten some of them. First one is the binder deposition. Now this is the most common technology which is used. It is the primary 3D printing technology used for pharmaceutical production in inkjet deposition on powder beds. So here the raw material is a powder bed on which the inkjet deposition of the binder solution is made. So inkjet printers, what they do is they spray formulation of drug or binders in small droplets at precise speed, motions, and sizes onto the powder bed. And the liquid formulation which is inside the printer may contain a binder, and the powder bed may contain API with additional excipient. तो एक powder bed है जिसपे formulation को spray किया जा रहा है और formulation spray क्या हो रही है? That is the binder solution. Or we can also jet the APIs onto the powder bed as solution. So if the API is soluble in water, you can use that also, the solution of API also for jetting on the powder bed. Or even nanoparticulate suspensions can be jetted. So किसी भी तरह से you can modify the process according to the need. So in inkjet printing, the solvent choice or the powder properties can impact the API polymorphic form after drying. And because it is very common with this process is very common to the process of granulation, so it has various drug delivery applications. Now this is the figure of the 3D printing process by binder deposition. Here you see there is a hopper which contains the powder blend, and this powder is made into form of a powder bed in a tray. Here there is an inkjet sprayer, and this will spray the binder onto the powder bed. So there will be formulation of granules, and these granules can then be made into the tablet. The second method is material jetting. Now, inkjet printers can also print free form structures that solidify drop by drop. So instead of getting the final product, we can also form small droplets. The commonly jetted materials are molten polymers and waxes, UV curable resins, solutions, suspensions, and complex multi-component fluids. So material jetting can be more challenging to implement than the binder deposition, because here the entire formulation needs to be formulated for jetting. उस केस में आप बाइंडर पहले वाले में आप बाइंडर को अलग कर सकते हैं और एपीआई को अलग अलग कर सकते हैं. एपीआई कैन बी इन पाउडर or it can be in solution, or even the binder can be in form of solution or suspension or even a powder bed. But here what you need to do is पूरा का पूरा formulation ही आपको design करना. The entire formulation has to be first formulated and then it has to be jetted for rapid solidification, because the product required is small droplets. So one advantage of material jetting over binder jetting is that the droplets formed are 100 micron in diameter. So which means that we can generate directly the microparticles which can be used for drug delivery. Third technology is extrusion technology. Now this is a technology which you are also aware, which is used in various extruders bhi hai hamare paas, we use for semi-solids, but it can also be used for 3D printing. And it is one of the widely used 3D printing technology in pharmaceutical manufacturing. The material is extruded from robotically actuated nozzles. Okay, we have robotic nozzles, and unlike a binder deposition which requires a powder bed, extrusion methods can print on any substrate. तो इसके लिए powder bed नहीं चाहिए, कोई भी substrate हो सकता है. It can be a semi-solid, solid, or whatever. So materials can be extruded on a 3D printing, including molten polymers, paste, colloidal suspensions, silicones, and other semi-solids. So a common type of extrusion printing is fused filament fabrication. And there is other extrusion system use liquid or semi-solid formulation for printing. The FFF technology is using solid polymeric filaments. So बाकी जितने extrusion process हैं, they'll use solids, semi-solids or liquids, but this FFF technology will use solid polymeric filaments. So what we require for this technology is non-volatile and non-aerolizing raw materials. And the extruded material is typically more viscous than the jetted material, which can increase the time required to start and stop fluid flow during printing. So in this process, the entire product or the support structure has to be printed. In binder deposition, only the binder solution has to be printed. So again, like jetting material, in this also you have to print the entire product. जबकि binder deposition में हमेशा binder को ही print करना है. API can be in powder form. Now, despite this is a simple and versatile technique, it has been widely used for 3D printing of many drug products. The next technology is powder bed fusion. And powder bed, whenever we talk of fusion, we are using heat. And in this case, we are causing sintering. Sintering means there is partial surface melting. पूरा powder को melt नहीं करना या granule को melt नहीं करना, सिर्फ surface को melt करना, and that has to be congealed. So we can use high melting point particles with low melting point binder for sintering. In both the cases, we require heat, which is supplied by laser. And the recent alternative for heating powders is high speed sintering. That is, we can use inkjet deposition of a dye followed by targeted infrared radiation absorption. So instead of laser, we can also use infrared laser absorption. Now, powder bed fusion is a rapid but complex alternative to extrusion for heat processable materials like PLA. So this is exclusively meant for those materials which can be processed via heat. Now, next is photopolymerization. This is also called as stereolithography. And this involves exposing liquid resins to UV or other high energy light source to induce polymerization. This is very similar to the chemical polymerization, chemistry में जो polymerization करते हैं, here we are using UV rays for polymerization. So the primary limitation would be that we need a photopolymerizable raw material, which is not commonly found in pharmaceutical manufacturing. And moreover, whenever we do polymerization, there is always a chance of the residual monomers, which can present toxicological risk like genotoxicity. However, the potential advantages of photopolymerization system is that it is fastest and the highest resolution 3D printers are available. This technique has been used for 3D printing of photopolymerizable hydrogels. Next is pen-based 3D printing. And here a pen is used for 3D printing, where layer by layer assembly is controlled manually by handheld device. So here you can see I've drawn a picture of a pen. Now this is a pen which the kids use for 3D drawing, and this product is available on Amazon. So आपको किसी को भी 3D printing को understand करना, you can go to Amazon, buy this pen, and you draw. The point is, when you draw the figures, it will appear as 3D. And this pen has various knobs. One is for temperature adjustment, where you start with green light and with red light, and then you can have a PLA or ABS mode. And PLA means polylactic acid. This is acetyl butyl silicate mode. कोई भी दो polymers use करना है, either PLA or ABS mode इसमें use किया गया है. So you can use either of the mode to create a product. Now this device can be used for fine surgical procedures. जो ये पेन है, actually this is a kid pen, but it has been used in surgery for minor repairs, and researchers are considering this approach for deposition of 3D structured materials during surgery. So finer surgery में तो use कर सकते हैं, but major surgery में भी the doctors are thinking of using it. Then we have use of 3D printed molds. Now it is not always possible to print a substance, so because each technique has its own set of limitations. So what we can do is we can create a mold. Instead of creating the object, create a mold. And this allows fabrication of complex objects with non-printable materials. So here you can see there is a mold, और इस mold से इतना complex 3D product manufacture किया गया. And this process has the advantage that you can create replica units within short period of time. And the mold can be made either in the micro scale or even in millimeter scale to get the 3D printed products. Now I have discussed those techniques which are being used in pharmaceutical technology, and this is one example where a 3D printed pressure controlled drug delivery system has been reported by Cross et al. In 2019, where you can see this is the 3D printed product which has been made by extrusion, hot melt extrusion of filaments made with Udrajet RS. So Udrajet RS को use करते हुए and using the hot melt extrusion technique, the capsule was formed, and within the capsule, the purpose was to develop a 3D printed pressure controlled drug delivery system, which was gastro-retentive. So जब pressure लगा तो it released its components, and they were released in various timings. So pulsatile dose create की गई by 3D printing. Now, there are, apart from the methods which I told, which are used in pharmaceutical technology, there are other methods also, but they are not applied for product manufacturing. Those are directed energy deposition, laminated object manufacturing, electrospinning, a combination of extrusion, electrospinning, and sacrificial molding, and voxel printing and rapid assembly. So these are the various methods which are actually very widely used in engineering or automobile sector, consumer good products, but they are not being used in pharmaceutical good products. Now, what are the three drivers for developing 3D printed drug products? There are three drivers. One is product complexity, personalization, and on-demand manufacturing. These are the three drivers which have actually forced 3D printing to enter into the pharmaceutical manufacturing. So first is the increased product complexity. See, if we analyze pharmaceutical dosage forms, they have evolved from being simple to very complex systems. Starting from botanicals to ointments, powders, lotions, compressed tablets, these were first prepared by 1878. Then the dosage form evolution in 20th century was largely fueled by polymer science. The 20th century, it was all based on polymer science, wherein we got extended and delayed release tablets, transdermal drug delivery systems, and long-acting implants. And then in 1996, 3D printing of pharmaceuticals was first reported, which was basically a digital control over the arrangement of matter. So earlier it was mechanical control over the matter. Now with 3D printing, we could have digital control of the material. And it was a step change in dosage form evolution that may produce striking changes in immediate release, modified release, and combination drug products. Now, when we talk of pharmaceutical products and the implication of 3D printing, what does it do? See, whenever we use 3D printing, we know that any drug product, the structure of any drug product can affect the drug release. So with 3D printing, we can create complex 3D structures to create new opportunities for drug delivery. For example, FDA has approved Spretan. It has a unitary porous structure produced by 3D printing process that binds powder without compression. You should notice that there is binding of the powder without compression. Now this structure allows tablet with up to 1000 mg of levetiracetam to disintegrate within seconds when taken with a sip of water. So 1 gram की tablet seconds में disintegrate हो रही है with a sip of water. That is the kind of product we can produce by 3D printing. Now, it is not only the disintegration which is affected by the structure, but we can have a speedier dissolution than the traditional immediate release product. So both disintegration and dissolution will be affected. Strategies for increasing dissolution rates include printing high surface area shapes, printing amorphous dispersions by hot melt extrusion. 3D printing can also create new manufacturing options for potent APIs, which will solve the problems associated with occupational exposure to potent APIs. So whenever potent APIs are manufactured in high-speed machines, what happens is there is always a dust hazard. And dust hazard means that is an occupational hazard. The workers tend to inhale it. This can be avoided if we use 3D printing. Then printing of extremely low dose products containing as little as 3 nanograms of API can be produced with 10% relative standard deviation. And we cannot have any conventional process which can achieve this level of content uniformity. Then we can use 3D printing for fluid bed granulation to produce 1 microgram tablet with 5% relative standard deviation. So there is no conventional process which can do this. We do not have any fluid bed dryer which can produce this kind of product. So although 3D printing can be utilized for IR products, the majority of 3D printing research focuses on MR products, that is modified release products, for greater control over release kinetics and drug targeting. And 3D printing could replicate existing modified release solid oral dosage forms such as matrix tablets, reservoirs with insoluble or enteric coating, bilayer or coated tablets for pulsatile release, and even osmotic pumps. So see the variety of products that can be printed by 3D printing. And 3D printed implants can also be made with complex drug release profiles. So these are the examples of some novel designs which can be made by 3D printing to achieve modified release solid oral dosage form. Like we can create radial gradients of diffusion controlling excipients such as ethyl cellulose to achieve near zero order release. Then we can combine osmotic pumps and HPMC based MR structures to create a single product with multiple release modalities. Then we can use to create structured breakaway components to deposit different parts of SDOF in different parts of lumen. मतलब एक ही टैबलेट है बट उसमें से डिफरेंट स्ट्रक्चर्स अलग अलग टाइम पे ब्रेक होके अलग अलग जगह डिपॉजिट हो जाएंगे गैस्ट्रोइंटेस्टाइनल ट्रैक्ट. Then printing SODFs with all but one side covered with an impermeable membrane so that the dissolvable portion maintains a constant surface area during drug release. This is very difficult in a conventional process. Then we can also use it for stacking 6 or more different layers in a single product for multiphasic release. And we can print toroidal solid oral dosage forms that can achieve near zero order release. So these are some interesting examples which can be made with 3D printing. Then the 3D printing can also be used for creating drug device and drug biologic combination products. Now these are drug device and drug biologic products. They are the most complex drug products. And digital control over the arrangement of matter is especially useful in this case. So what are the drug devices which can be made by 3D printing? We can print wirelessly triggered capsules, magnetically controlled microtransporters several times smaller than a grain of rice. And we can have passive drug-loaded devices such as antibiotic-loaded catheters and intrauterine devices composed of EVA. Right? So these are some devices which can be printed by 3D printing. And then we have drug biologic combination products. For this, we can have drug-eluting scaffolds for pharmacologically controlled tissue engineering. So this is the amount. These are the complexities of the drug products now available, which started from botanicals. And 3D printing is actually very useful tool for creating as much as complex product we require, because we ultimately want to control the drug release. So second driver of 3D printing is personalization. That is, we know that we have personalized medicines. Personalized medicine means we can give medicine to a patient based on its biomarkers. For example, we can use Herceptin to treat HER2 overexpressing breast cancer. And this concept can be applied for personalized dosage form design also. That is, 3D printing facilitates personalization. Now, what is this personalization? That we can modify digital designs more readily than modifying the physical equipment. Automated small-scale 3D printing may have negligible operating costs. So these are the two reasons why we can go for personalization. In short, 3D printing could make multiple small individualized batches economically feasible. Now, what does personalization mean? 3D printing enables personalized doses, personalized implants, and personalized products, which can be designed to improve adherence. Adherence means increasing patient compliance. तो किसी पेशेंट के हिसाब से डोज बना लेना, किसी पेशेंट के हिसाब से इम्प्लांट बनाना, या किसी भी पेशेंट के हिसाब से पर्सनलाइज्ड डोज बनाना. And it can also be used for accurate dosing in growing children, and it permits the personalized dosing of highly potent drugs. Now, personalization को explain करती हूँ by this slide. We can combine all patients' medications into a single daily dose. Normally, what happens is, whenever, especially in elderly patient, what happens is there are multiple pathologies, so we give multiple medications, and a patient sometimes has to take 5 to 6 tablets. Now, in order to avoid that, what we can do is we can convert all the medications into a single daily dose. Like you can see here, this is an example where aminosalicylic acid, HCT, ramipril, and atenolol pravastatin, they all have been combined by 3D printing into a single tablet. And ASA and HCT is the immediate release compartment, whereas ramipril, atenolol, and pravastatin, they are forming the extended release compartment. So all these 5 drugs combined together, and the release pattern varies, that can only be achieved by 3D printing. So this is personalization. आपने एक नया dosage form develop कर दिया है, ठीक है, जो एक ही patient के लिए, and this is only possible with 3D printing. Likewise, here also you can see this is the toroidal structure. इसको toroidal structure कहते हैं, जो मैंने पहले mention किया था. And here we have naproxen, aspirin, paracetamol, caffeine, chloramphenicol, and prednisolone all combined together in one single tablet. So each color is representing a different medicament, but actually it is a toroidal shaped structure where you can achieve zero order release even by this structure, and then give it to the patient for its personalized needs. The third figure is again showing a multiple drug combination where you have a multi-layer design, multi-layer device, and a duo caplet. So they can be either in the form of layers or a core shell structure. So ये सब personalization के examples हैं. Patient की need के हिसाब से personalization को कर दिया. Then we can have personalization of implants also. We can print implants that match patient's anatomical features. हर patient के हिसाब से एक नया implant बनाया जा सकता है. So medical devices like tracheal splints and bone grafts have been created by 3D printing. So drug-loaded 3D printing implants and personalized drug-loaded implants, they can be made by 3D printing, and researchers at MIT, they have used multi-drug implants to screen drugs for chemotherapeutic effectiveness in patient tumor. तो screening की है पहले screening कर ली है, उसके बाद जो जरूरत है, जो best है, that is being given to the patient. Personalization could improve patients' adherence to medication. And to demonstrate this concept, researchers at University College London printed animal-shaped drug products for children. So ये जो picture है, these are not toys. They are not toys. They are actually medicaments, and they have been designed as animal-shaped because to improve the acceptance by the children. Toy-shaped है तो acceptance भी children से ज़्यादा हो जाए. The third driver is on-demand manufacturing. Now, on-demand manufacturing is beneficial for public health. That is, we can directly print on the patients, and this has been applied to create tissue engineering scaffolds and wound healing gels. So directly patient पे ही print कर सकते हैं by 3D printing. Like gels can be printed. Now, this type of on-demand manufacturing कहाँ important? When there is a time constraint setting or a resource constraint setting. Time constraint setting कौन सी होती है? The product development R&D में when there is a target कि इतनी देर में ये product बनना है. That time 3D printing enables faster formulation optimization. We don't need mechanical device. 3D printing से आप 10 tablet बना लीजिए और उसको optimize कर. And when there is resource constraint, that is when we have a disaster area, emergency room, operating room, ambulance, intensive care units, या military operations हैं, या disaster floods हैं, वहाँ पे आप you cannot एक unit को नहीं ले जा सकते, pharmaceutical industry को नहीं ले जा सकते, but you can carry a 3D printer. Ambulance में भी print हो सकता है. So that is the resource constraint है हमारा, but we can still go ahead with the help. And 3D printing can also be used for printing of low stability drugs for immediate consumption. Like this concept began as early as 2011 and has been applied to 3D printing in 2014. For example, we can print 3D, we can allow 3D printing of nitroglycerin. This is unstable product. So what will happen is immediately जितना चाहिए उतना prepare करिए and then use it. So if I sum up what I have said. See, 3D printing technology is used for developing dosage forms like immediate release tablets, bilayer tablet, capsule, polypill, sets, implants, and they can find applications in cancer, diabetes, cardiovascular diseases, neurodegenerative disorders, and others. There are various techniques which can be used, and they have been used for personalized medicine, modified delivery, personalized prosthetics, medical devices, biofabrication, and anatomical models. So we can use 3D printing for a variety of purposes. But this is not the end of the story. The 3D printing is still undergoing various versions. And I must tell you that 3D printing is also called as additive manufacturing. And it was introduced as early as 1984. Later on in 2010, it emerged as 3D bioprinting, where we use biological inks. Then in 2013 came 4D printing. 2014 saw 4D bioprinting, and 2016 is seeing 5D printing. So in 2021, I'm talking about 3D printing. You can understand we are far behind. Now, why these printings were evolved? Because 3D printing, it assumes it takes into account only the initial state of printed structure and assumes it to be static. मतलब वो जो भी है वो static है, उसमें कुछ change नहीं कर सकते ना. So this is a problem, especially if you want to prepare curved surfaces. तो अगर static surface है तो you'll always get straight layers. अगर आपको curve करना है तो that is not possible. तो curve करने के लिए 4D printing was introduced, and it has the ability of shape and functionality transformation. तो ये static होने के बजाय transform हो जाता है over the time, and this allows accurate imitation of dynamics of native tissues. So 3D printing से ज़्यादा smart technology है 4D printing, because it is using a multi-material 3D printing and inverse problem modeling and using a smart material. So that is the basic advantage. Now, apart from 4D printing, उसके बाद आया 4D bioprinting, जिसमें कि हम biological inks use करते हैं, right? These are cells को use करते हैं, cytocompatible cells use किए जाते हैं. Whereas in 5D printing, it is a new branch of additive manufacturing, and it undertakes a curve path of the part being printed rather than moving through straight layer as in case of 3D printers. So this printing allows a potential to fabricate artificial bone for surgery. So it is a commercial, as I've discussed many times, that it is a commercially feasible technology, and FDA has approved 3D printed drug product in August 2015. And overall, FDA encourages development of complex dosage forms and manufacturing processes such as 3D tablet printing using science and risk-based approaches. And this figure shows that in 2016, the US has already has a share of 3D printed products, but none of the world has used it. But it is expected by 2023, where the US share will rise, the world will gradually, rest of the world will gradually enter into the 3D printing. And this is the picture of the US FDA approved products, Pretam. The tablet size you can see, it is 1000 mg of the API, which can disintegrate in a with a sip of water in seconds. And it is not only the medicinal products or the pharmaceutical products, even nutraceuticals have been developed by 3D printing. And this is an example of a capsule, nutraceutical capsule, which has multiple release times. That is, we have two components, release now and release later. And these are the components: vitamin A, omega-3, magnesium, vitamin C, caffeine, and B6. And by 3D printing, you can vary all these in thousands of combinations. So by using 3D printing, it is possible to create thousands of combinations, which you cannot do by conventional products. Now, what are the softwares which can be used for 3D printing? These are SketchUp, Tinkercad, Autodesk Fusion 360, Blender, Onshape, Slid Edge, Ultimaker, Cura, Mesh Mixer, Simplify 3D, MeshLab, and Netfab. और जो रेड में मार्क किए, they are freely available on the internet. तो आप try कर सकते हैं. What are, you can learn them. And if I summarize what I've said, see, 3D printing technology is basically used for tailored medical devices, tailored oral drug delivery, and it can be used for manufacturing oral dosage forms to get flexible multi-drug combination and individualized dosing. So this is basically what the summary of 3D printing is. And while I'm today talking of 3D printing, I must tell you it has emerged long back, and it is high time that our youngsters, young researchers should pick up, and they should pursue their research in this particular area. And why it is important? Because there's a quote that says the illiterate of 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. And when we talk of 3D printing, it is basically we have to unlearn some older conventional techniques and we have to relearn the newer techniques. That is only where the future lies. And this is again a slide which is showing contact lenses with 3D products. These are all 3D printing products. And thank you very much for the patient hearing. And if you have any questions, you can ask.
Yes,
Thank you so much.
ma'am, we have questions.
Yes.
First question is from Dr. Rajiv from RUAS. He is asking, 3D printing is a slow method. How can it be adapted into our manufacturing process?
Yes, 3D printing is definitely a slow method, but engineering processes, when we can have manufacturing processes in automobile industry, consumer good products, and robotics, definitely we can imply all those techniques to get a fast production. ठीक है, ऑटोमोबाइल इंडस्ट्री में भी हो रहा प्रोडक्शन, कंज्यूमर गुड प्रोडक्ट्स में भी हो रहा है, तो फार्मास्यूटिकल इंडस्ट्री में भी हो जाएगा. It all depends upon how we handle the technology.
Okay, ma'am. Next question is from Dr. Shekhar Singh, BBD, NIT. He is asking, 3D printing is a costly method as it involves so much process, software, and instrument. So, how cost effectiveness can be achieved for patients?
Yeah, actually, cost effectiveness is a commercial term, right? And again, my answer would be कि if we can use it, if we can apply it for automobile industry or any other industry, definitely वो सब भी cost effectiveness को ही propagate कर रही हैं. So whenever we go for business, we'll definitely take into account the cost effectiveness. And if we have a product in the market, already a product in the market, which is Spiritam. Oh, it may be only the sole product, but definitely it holds a future. So based on the techniques that have been used for production of Spiritam, we can extrapolate those techniques for producing any product as we require. Abhi research hai, but later it can be commercialized. It all depends upon inclination, and maybe we have better technologies in the next few months or not next few months. In next few years, we may evolve to get better technologies. Why we are thinking only in terms of today? It is a technique which has already arrived, it has already emerged, and it is definitely bound to grow. Young gen people will add on to it. कोई भी टेक्नोलॉजी जब आती है तो वो सिंपल फॉर्म में होती है, and it has to be evolved gradually. It evolves and evolves and evolves so that it reaches its height. So this will also reach its heights. There are limitations. I don't say there are no limitations. हर लिमिटेशन को क्योर करने का या उसको हटाने का, there is always a solution, and it will definitely come. I'm very sure about it.
I think questions are over. So thank you, ma'am, for your insights on an unimaginable topic, 3D printing, that is a combination of chemistry and robotics. We learned about the design to a machine readable format, raw materials required, printing, and the post-processing steps. You also elaborated us with various techniques of 3D printing like binder deposition, material jetting, extrusion technology, power bed fusion, photopolymerization, pen-based 3D printing molds along with their application. You enlightened our delegates about the need of 3D printing due to product complexity, personalization, and on-demand manufacturing as in time or resource constraint settings. We also learned about the advances of 3D like 4D and 5D printing along with many softwares. Thank you, ma'am.